Tonight, in from the cold, London's new micro-shelters nearing completion during a stretch of winter's worst.
I can say that a lot of people are eager to be coming here.
Plus, automotive optimism.
We've got 8,500 team members here that are excited to build this great product.
The new Toyota model soon rolling off the line in Woodstock. And waiting for Willie.
It's an annual tradition, and it's a homecoming for many people.
Anticipating the Groundhog's prediction, hoping for an early spring.
CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The city's new micro-shelter community for homeless Londoners is about to welcome its first residents. The project isn't finished yet, still under construction in a farm field south of the 401. Daryl Newcomb got a tour of the site today and asked about its safety during these harsh winter conditions.
London's soon-to-open micro-modular shelter community began last fall as a direction to city staff by Mayor Josh Morgan.
This is not meant to be something permanent. This is an emergency temporary shelter that we've had to build.
70 people will live in 60 structures that include a heater and basic furniture. Larger trailers are designed for meals, bathrooms, laundry, and recreation. The goal is for people currently living outdoors to be given an opportunity to stabilize before progressing into more formal housing.
Getting out of the cold, especially in a winter like this, I can say that a lot of people are eager to be coming here.
The tour experienced frigid conditions traveling between the trailers, but the city says the exposed location was considered in the design.
The perimeter fencing is actually going to have some cloth covering on it, which will help mitigate some of the wind blowing across the open field. Really excited for that to be installed. Kind of wish it was installed today. And beyond that, we have 9 common trailers that are all going to be heated.
Cheese Factory Road lacks a sidewalk, and the rural property is located between Highway 401 and a ditch. The mayor says this when asked if he can guarantee residents' safety.
I can never give a guarantee that people will be safe anywhere in the city. You know, there's streets everywhere. There's traffic on streets. People got to be safe. But what we have here is a site that is managed, a site that has warm spaces.
This is meant to be a recreational space. So.
Residents will have to sign a participation agreement and contribute their shelter allowance from Ontario Works or ODSP. Upon opening, there'll be a no guest policy, and consideration has been given to addressing alcohol and cannabis on site.
We don't want to be inviting any of that stuff on site, but we understand people may use that as they would anywhere else, and we want to make sure it's done in a very safe and appropriate manner.
Construction continues, but the first residents will move in next week.
We need electrical to the support trailers, a little bit of plumbing work, so we need to make sure those pipes are insulated before we turn the water on. But other than that, we're just about set.
Council approved spending up to $7 million to construct and operate the site until April 2027. After that, the mayor says it depends on the state of the homelessness crisis.
You have mayors calling for this to be elevated to the top of the provincial agenda, and we're willing to work in partnership to try to take a real run at solving homelessness in this province. If we don't do a good job, there's going to be a continued need for the site.
Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Amid the bitter cold, some city councillors are proposing changes to get people living outside inside sooner. With more on those proposals, here's Brian Bicknell.
Not enough people are getting indoors, and those spaces to seek relief from the cold aren't open long enough.
You don't want to see anybody having to spend any length of time outside in this weather.
Susan Stevenson is one of 3 city councillors, along with the deputy mayor, to sign a motion calling for $1.9 million funding for London Cares to be reallocated. She says rather than having the outreach workers deal directly with those on the street, they want to expand services at the community hub at 602 Queens Ave from 5 to 7 days a week with longer hours.
Which would give people access to their basic needs, access to indoor space, washroom, showers, and laundry, which everyone agrees is needed, both in this extreme cold and in any extreme heat situation in the summer.
The motion also calls for changes to the $1 million Project Home program. Councillors want public housing units like 122 Baseline West for high acuity individuals.
So let's focus on the people coming out of the Heart Hub and the Quinton Warner House and make sure that they get housing, that there isn't a gap in service.
Meanwhile, in this winter of punishing cold, there is also an effort to adjust the temperature threshold or change the criteria for when warming centers are opened.
We are trying to open more spaces earlier. So right now, the Tier 3 level gets triggered at -15 with a -20 wind chill. So we're looking to offer some funding to local agencies to open at -5. As well, we would also like to change the trigger for our own warming center at Boyle. So that would be -15 or -20 with wind chill, or when there's an Environment Canada alert.
The proposal is expected to cost about $250,000 for the remainder of the winter. Both motions going to Council's Community and Protective Services Committee on Monday. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Emergency officials in Midwestern Ontario have been telling residents to stay home during another day of high winds, blowing snow and frigid temperatures. Police in Grey Bruce issued a travel advisory urging drivers to stay off the roads. On top of that, Bruce County municipal officials have pulled all their plows off the road until further notice, citing unsafe weather. Schools from Tobermory to Clinton were closed because of the conditions today, making it an entire week of missed classes for many students. Now, city staff in London say the city is low on road salt, forcing road crews to make adjustments. Officials say crews will plow major streets more frequently starting this weekend to reduce how much salt is needed. Roads with schools or hospitals as well as bus routes will be prioritized, and residential streets will be plowed after. City staff say more sand will be used to supplement the low salt levels. They also say salt reserves have been depleted across the province because of the timing and intensity of the winter weather. And with a first look at the forecast, here's Rita Ismail.
Carlyle, we are certainly going to need some of that sand and salt this weekend. Right now, though, the cold warning is the story for us today. Bitterly cold temperatures tonight into tomorrow. The wind chill value overnight tonight will hit -30. We have brisk winds gusting up to 50 kilometers per hour. And of course, we need to watch for cold-related symptoms. Frostbites can develop within minutes. And remember, if it's too cold for you, it's too cold for your pets. Right now, we're sitting at -18 degrees. That is not factoring in that wind chill. The winds out of the west, 20 kilometers per hour. Heading into the night, we do still have some flurries and snow squalls throughout Grey and Bruce and down into Huron and Perth. We are tracking the next weather maker, Carlyle, and it will push in this weekend. We will see a cumulative snowfall coming in from this nor'easter as it makes its way over Ontario in the next 24 to 48 hours. We'll tell you what that looks like a little later in the show. Carlyle?
Rita, thanks very much. Crown and defense lawyers were far apart today in their sentencing submissions, arguing what a fair punishment looks like for a woman convicted of manslaughter. With more from the London courthouse, here's Jerry Dewan.
27-year-old Shaniqua Henry was found dead in the laneway of a Chippewas of the Thames home in July of 2022. Her friend, Corey Dockstader, was charged with second-degree murder in connection with her stabbing death, but was ultimately convicted in July of last year of the lesser charge of manslaughter and granted bail. During testimony, the court heard that Dockstader and Henry had been driving around using alcohol and drugs and arguing over a money issue. During the confrontation, Henry received a stab wound to the heart that claimed her life. On Friday, Assistant Crown Attorney Jeremy Carnegie called for an 8-year sentence with time served and other credits. The remaining time to be served would be slightly under 4 years. In his submission, Carnegie noted that after stabbing Henry, Dockstader left her in the lane in the early morning hours and drove away without calling 911. Henry's auntie, Colleen McLaughlin, read 4 victim impact statements into the court record, including one from Henry's partner, Alan Young. In his statement, Young said their daughter, Layla Henry, would ask, "Why did Mummy go to be an angel?" saying questions like that are hard to answer. Conversely, Dockstader's attorney, Jeff Snow, said his client shouldn't spend another day in jail. He argued for a suspended sentence or at the most a 2-year sentence, which would be offset by time served and credited time. A Gladue report was submitted in this case, which identifies systemic issues affecting an Indigenous offender, often linked to colonialism and racism. Snow told the court that Gladue reports have been used for about 30 years but have had negligible impact on sentencing outcomes. He called on Superior Court Justice Mark Garcia Carson to change that practice. Snow became emotional as they identified challenges impacting the now 34-year-old dockstader and noted that her own 3 children will suffer the consequences if she is sent to jail. At the outset of the hearing, Justice Carson told the court he would need some time to consider his sentencing decision. Jerry DeWan, CTV News.
St. Thomas police say they're looking for a suspect accused of breaking into a pharmacy. They've released these surveillance images. According to police, the suspect took Percocet, methadone, and cash from a business on Sunset Drive Thursday morning. They say the stolen drugs are worth $36,000. St. Thomas police also say they're investigating a high-end theft near the PowerCo development. Police say they were contacted by a contractor working along Electric Avenue near the site yesterday. According to police, GPS units worth roughly $200,000 were taken from bulldozers overnight, as well as other items. The $7 billion manufacturing facility is expected to open next year, producing batteries for Volkswagen electric vehicles with up to 3,000 employees. London police say a pedestrian suffered serious injuries when they were hit by a driver early this morning. They say it happened shortly after 6 this morning on Dundas near Wavell Street. Police say the driver involved remained at the scene. Toyota held an unveiling event today in Woodstock for its Canadian-built RAV4. The latest generation model will roll out of southwestern Ontario exclusively hybrid. As Sean Irvin reports, at a time of economic upheaval, Toyota officials are optimistic.
In what is believed to be an automotive first, a new vehicle is honored during an Indigenous smudging ceremony at its production launch. The all-new, all-hybrid RAV4 SUV is expected to sustain employment at Toyota in Woodstock and in Cambridge into the future. Despite U.S. tariffs, RAV4 sales have not slowed as the vehicle proves to be a hit with consumers on both sides of the border. Last year, more than 537,000 were produced.
Very important product for us. We've got 8,500 team members here that are excited to build this great product, and we're ready to get it rolling, get it out on the road.
Peak production of the new vehicle is expected to begin in March. Overtime is anticipated to meet demand. But for now, new jobs for the region are not.
We're pretty much maxed out on how many we can build here.
The max production here is in sharp contrast to the situation facing many other Canadian automakers and their employees, including those at nearby GM Cami Automotive. At the rollout, federal and provincial officials recognize the Toyota Canada success story amid worldwide uncertainty.
You may have heard about Prime Minister Carney's speech lately, where he laid out some of the new realities of our global order. And in some cases, we are not able to partner in the way we used to. And in some cases, we must continue to partner. And this plant is an example of that integration.
We are determined to continue to work together in the face of global uncertainty and uncertainty in the automotive sector. We need to change how we do things, and TMMC has been at the forefront of that.
85% of RAV4s built here are shipped to the United States. For now, Toyota states tariffs have not spiked U.S. vehicle prices for their Canadian-built product.
Will there be price increases over time? Perhaps. But right now, we're just trying to focus on pumping out as many as we can.
Toyota is also absorbing the recently announced framework for importing Chinese-made SUVs into Canada.
I don't think it's going to affect our operations here in Canada.
In Woodstock, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
Southwestern Ontario's largest home show is in London this weekend.
If you're looking for something to do over the weekend, get out of the cold, it's a great way to come do that. And the nice part, too, is it's free for kids under 18 as well.
The Lifestyle Home Show runs through Sunday at the Western Fair District, featuring more than 300 exhibitor booths offering services in home design, renovation, and lifestyle. The event also includes expert presentations covering renovation trends and sustainable living.
London is an incredible community. We are the hub of southwestern Ontario. So to keep continuing to be that center, to be that presence, we have people coming in from all over, from Chatham, from Windsor, from Stratford, from Waterloo, from all over. So we really are that hub, and to have the biggest presence in the entire region is incredibly important.
When we come back, one of the FBI's most wanted arrested. The former Canadian Olympian, now in custody, an accused drug kingpin. Plus, the cost of keeping warm, natural gas prices rising in the midst of a frigid forecast.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We begin tonight with Ontario's latest.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. CTVLondon.ca, your home for news.
Welcome back. Federal investigators in the U.S. say they have arrested former Canadian Olympic snowboarder turned international fugitive Ryan Wedding. The 44-year-old was on the FBI's most wanted list, accused of running a violent transnational drug trafficking network. Kamil Karamali reports.
This is a moment more than a decade in the making. Former Canadian Olympian Ryan Wedding in handcuffs, surrounded by police, brought to U.S. soil to face a litany of charges. The 44-year-old from Thunder Bay, Ontario, arrested last night in Mexico City. A Mexican official saying today a Canadian voluntarily surrendered at the U.S. Embassy.
This is what a united front looks like.
It marks the end of a manhunt spanning an entire continent and coordination between police in 3 countries.
Here we are today, bringing him to justice for trafficking hundreds of kilos of cocaine and also for the murder of innocent civilians.
Wedding was first wanted by the RCMP in 2015. After fleeing Canada, he allegedly began building a multi-billion-dollar drug smuggling empire, trafficking tons of cocaine to the U.S. and Canada each year. Last year, finding himself on the FBI's 10 most wanted list after being accused of orchestrating the murder of a federal witness who was set to testify against him. He allegedly ordered a hit on a home in Caledon, Ontario that mistakenly resulted in the killing of an innocent family. The Bureau offering a $15 million reward for his capture, the heat ramping up in November when RCMP arrested several of his associates in Canada and Mexican authorities seized millions of dollars of his assets.
You're going to find a lot more other individuals are going to come forward and say, listen, I'd rather give you the information. I'll tell you, I'll testify. Just don't put me in jail.
We will not comment on anyone regarding the rewards.
Few details released by officials today, with many left waiting for answers, including those who knew him.
In some ways, I can understand, the path that he took just because of the lack of funding in Canadian sport in general.
Wedding will be held in custody over the weekend, facing a list of charges related to murder and drug trafficking, with his first court appearance slated for Monday morning. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada's role in Arctic security has been called into question as the U.S. president raised broader questions about the best way to protect the entire region. Regardless, Canada maintains a permanent military presence in the north. With more on what that looks like, here's Heather Wright.
Well, we are here with Joint Task Force North in Yellowknife, some of the members of the Canadian Armed Forces deployed up here in the north. And with so much attention on the Arctic and Arctic security, we know that protecting Canada's Arctic is not just having radar systems or having military bases, it's also having a presence. And so that's what these members are doing today. They're out on the snowmobile. They're doing training exercises, part of this ongoing deployment in the north, and it's also getting used to living and working and serving in these harsh conditions. It's minus 30 right now, minus 40 with the wind chill, and that's something that these troops, that these Canadian Armed Forces members have to deal with every single day as they are out here serving in the Arctic and having a presence here in Yellowknife and beyond.
Visibility, presence, definitely one, are part of our mission here, and we're covering like 40% of Canada's landmass, 75% of its coastline, and through 4 time zones.
The federal government has committed to spending billions of dollars more on the Canadian Armed Forces, and that includes money for Arctic security. And even earlier this week, Prime Minister Mark Carney said part of solving the crisis with Greenland is beefing up security here in the north. Heather Wright, CTV News, Yellowknife.
Now we'll check back in with Rita for the local forecast details shortly. But first, the bitter cold is impacting many regions across the country right now. And as Adrian Gabriel reports, it's an expensive time for the price of natural gas to increase.
An Arctic air mass is siphoning the spirit of some Canadians.
Oh my God, it's terrible.
It's absolutely terrible. I stay home most of the time.
Though staying home these days is far from a free ride with natural gas prices on the rise.
The gas spike right now is because it's cold right through Canada and the United States. So the gas demand is up, and demand goes up, prices go up.
Western Canada is a net exporter of natural gas. Utilities heating homes in Eastern Canada import the bulk of their natural gas from the United States, where the cost is now soaring.
We've seen some prices in the U.S. Midwest spike to over $70 per MMBTU. I mean, these are massive prices, but they're cold weather related.
From forest fires to a historic deep freeze, Canada's climate is affecting the economy, with Canadian households bearing the brunt of the costs. The Canadian Climate Institute has estimated that by 2050, extreme weather events could cost the country between $78 and $101 billion per year in losses, depending on future greenhouse gas emissions.
Whether it's heat causing wildfires or extreme cold freezing your pipes, I'll have to leave a tap dripping to make sure my pipes don't freeze, because if they do, that's a huge expense.
In parts of Manitoba, schools have been shuttered today, with temperatures plunging to dangerous depths.
Manitobans are tough. If it's too cold to go to school in Manitoba, it's cold.
As a deep freeze keeps its frosty grip on both sides of the border, many Canadians can expect the cost to heat their homes to remain elevated.
One alternative that could save you some money is a heat pump, which can both cool and heat your home on a budget, though it does come with an upfront cost. Any way you slice it, staying warm tonight and through the weekend is a top priority. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News.
Now, for the superstitious, there may be some cold weather relief on the way in the form of a famous rodent's annual forecast. With more on the preparations for Wiarton Willie's big day, here's Scott Miller.
Willie did not see his shadow. We will have an early spring.
In 10 days, an albino groundhog will be brought out onto a stage in Wiarton to conduct his annual winter weather forecast.
We are so excited. This is the 70th prediction for Wiarton Willie.
For 7 decades, Wiarton Willie has been delighting audiences with his weather prognostications. 36 times he's not seen his shadow and predicted an early spring. 25 times he's seen his shadow predicting 6 more weeks of winter. And 9 times there's no record of what his prediction was. No matter what he says, Willie's February 2nd prediction draws thousands of people from around the world to Wiarton each and every Groundhog Day.
It's an annual tradition, and it's a homecoming for many people that have grown up in the area, and they return home with their families and they share in the celebration. So we really are excited and looking to welcome everybody back to Wiarton for Wiarton Willie Festival.
While Willie's prediction is the highlight of the Wiarton Willie Festival, dances, games, kids events, and chili cook-offs start on Friday, January 30th and run right through until the big moment at 8:07 a.m. on Monday, February 2nd.
If you haven't seen the fireworks on a crisp February morning overlooking Cold Poise Bay, it's something that everybody has to experience at least once. And we see, thousands of visitors coming to the area in the middle of, in February.
What Willie sees and says on February 2nd is still to be determined, but with constant road closures and 15 snow days for students in Grey Bruce so far this winter, the consensus in the Groundhog Day crowd will undoubtedly be for Willie to predict an end to winter as soon as possible.
We're looking forward to lots of community spirit in, the north winter. So it really is winter up here on the Bruce Peninsula.
I'll be covering Wiarton Willie's prediction on Groundhog Day, and we'll have all the details on the CTV London website that morning. In Wiarton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
Rita's on the desk with me now. Probably a bit early to be suggesting which way Wiarton Willie will be leaning that morning from a meteorological perspective, but I know what most people are hoping for, I think.
I think so. It feels like we've lived about 4 months of winter already.
It's been harsh.
Yeah, it certainly has. So here's to hoping for an early spring. It's not coming this week, though, I'll tell you that much. -10, our high today. That's right. We hit that around midnight and dropped to -18 where we're sitting right now. Wind chill factor factor in today. It is felt about 10 degrees colder than that. So right now, our wind chill at -28. Normal this time of year, -3 degrees. Again, nowhere near that. Record 13 degrees, record low -31. So I guess that's the good news. We didn't hit the record that was set back in 1970. Now, as we head into the night, our temperatures are ranging anywhere between -15 in Goderich to -19 in Chatham-Kent. Again, this doesn't really mean much with that wind chill. It feels about 10 degrees colder than that. You could see some flurry activity off of Lake Huron along the eastern shores. It is starting to ease off, which is good news. We are going to have clear skies overnight tonight, but those clear skies will allow some of that cold air to filter in. Again, we do have that cold warning in effect that has been issued by Environment Canada. Here's this big system that is going to move in this weekend, and with that, we'll pick up at least 10 to 15 centimeters of snowfall. This forecast model is predicting that it does move in around 1 p.m. If it moves in a little later, our totals will obviously be a little bit lower, but as of right now, about 15 centimeters for us here in southwestern Ontario. It will push out by Monday, and the air mass in behind it will remain cold. The winds will pick up, and that means flurries for Monday. This evening, though, bitterly cold temperatures, -20 overnight, feeling like -30. Really do avoid being outside if you can. Clear and cold early Saturday morning. If you are an early riser, want to go out for a walk, you need to dress accordingly. The wind chill will be at about -25 around noon. Lots of sunshine for tomorrow, which is great vitamin D, but it won't really warm us up at all. Clouds will increase late in the day ahead of this system that will move in on Sunday and bring that accumulative snowfall. So here's how the next 7 days play out. We are going to remain well below seasonal temperatures. We have this polar vortex air mass that is going to just remain locked into place. So if you're hoping for a warm up, you're not going to find it here in this forecast. We'll see some flurries, some snowfall on Sunday, and then heading into Wednesday through to Friday, mostly cloudy conditions with the chance for some flurries as well. Our overnight lows, really dangerous overnight lows, anywhere between -12 to -21, and that wind chill will be there all week long. Midwestern Ontario, -11 is your daytime high for Saturday. This is not a typo. I did not make a mistake, folks. These are our temperatures for this weekend. -12 on Sunday. Again, snowfall moving in a little later for you in Midwestern Ontario, and then we're holding on to that cold air on Monday at -9. The flurries will continue to fall throughout Grey and Bruce County, and keep in mind this evening we do still have that snow squall warning in effect. It should be lifted later on when the winds ease overnight, but overall cold conditions for the next 24 to 48 hours, and we're talking bitterly cold. I know I keep saying that, but there's really no other way to describe it. Carlyle.
It is that cold. All right, Rita, thanks very much. Coming up, a modern gold rush. The price of the precious metal almost doubling in a single year. What's behind the surge?
Join me on the iHeartRadio Pure Country Countdown this weekend, where we get our first glimpse of Ed Sheeran as a cowboy. And Chris Stapleton is talking about something that I don't think any of us want him to do. Join me Saturday at 9 and Sunday at 4.
Stats Canada is reporting a holiday spending boost in its latest retail trade report. Retail sales increased 1.3% in November, climbing above $70 billion. Sales were up in 8 of 9 subsectors, led by increases in food and beverage sales. Retail sales had fallen in October 0.2% to just under $70 billion. Lululemon's new Get Low line is available online again days after the company pulled the collection over customer complaints. Shoppers had said the new leggings were see-through while bending or squatting because of thin fabric. It led to a 6.5% drop in the company's share price Tuesday. The company has not changed the product at all, instead posting a note on its website suggesting customers size up and pair the leggings with skin tone and seamless underwear. The price of gold is surging, repeatedly breaking new highs in recent weeks. In just the last year, it's nearly doubled, closing in on $7,000 an ounce. With more on the factors pushing the price up, here's Danton Unger.
In the 3 years Winnipeg jeweler Carter Burke has been running Stackhouse Jewelry, he's never seen gold prices like this.
This 3 years ago, I'd be able to sell this to the customer for $10,000. Today, I could melt this and have a check for $17,000 in my hand.
This surge is also leading to somewhat of a gold rush over at Gate West Coin.
It's been very busy.
Vice President Jasmine Allen says given recent global instability, more people are turning to gold as a form of investment.
Especially with the extra media attention around it, there's a lot more curiosity around metals especially. There's a lot of people coming in and asking questions. Their phones are very busy.
What's happened the last couple of months is sort of almost a panic response.
Economics professor Fletcher Berriger says precious metals like gold often spike in times of political or economic uncertainty, though he says he's never seen an increase quite like this.
Over the year of 2025, since the Trump administration came into power, there's been a steady upward increase in the price of gold.
Just take a look. Gold has nearly doubled in the past year, sitting at about $6,800 per ounce as of Thursday evening. And so far this month, gold has spiked by roughly 76%.
To be honest, we can't get into production fast enough.
Sean Heinrich is the president and CEO of 1911 Gold Corporation, the company that's currently recommissioning the mine near Fiset, Manitoba. In its 100-year lifetime, the mines in this area have produced nearly 2 million ounces of gold. And given the recent increase, Heinrich hopes to get mining activity up and running again later this year.
We are moving probably faster than we originally had thought we would, and we're pushing along as quickly as we can.
But back at Stackhouse Jewelry, this gold rush is also bringing some challenges.
When I'm ordering new stock, it's insanely expensive, and I just hope gold doesn't crash, because then I'm going to lose out on a lot of money.
Danton Unger, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Canada's main stock index rose to a new high today, helped by gains in the basic materials sector. The TSX climbed 142 points. In New York, the Dow fell 285. The Nasdaq added 65. The Canadian dollar is up 1/3 of a cent. And on commodity markets, gold gained another $66 an ounce. Reminder, the price there is in U.S. dollars for an ounce. Oil jumped ahead at $1.71 a barrel. Later on CTV News, cold weather risks. With temperatures plunging across the continent, frostbite protection becomes paramount. Welcome back. A filmmaker with roots in London is among this year's Academy Award nominees. With more on his movie and his connection to the Forest City, here's Lauren Stallone.
The girl waited at the window all day.
The Girl Who Cried Pearls has been nominated for Best Animated Short Film at the 98th Academy Awards.
It's a combination of gratitude and enormous relief.
The film's directors, Maciek Sierwowski and Chris Lavis, say they are both thrilled to be representing Canada at the Oscars.
It's starting to sink in slowly, but it is a true joy to get that validation for all of us.
Sierwowski is not only representing Canada, but the city of London as well.
I lived there for a while.
He says him and his family moved to London from Poland when he was just 12 years old.
I have fond, wonderful memories of London and wanted to send you guys a big kiss.
The film takes place in Montreal and follows a poor boy who falls in love with a girl whose sorrow turns into pearls.
The color, the luster, the luminescence.
The boy sells the pearls to a ruthless pawnbroker.
This greed and love tension was the basis of this fable. This love of Montreal was sort of the setting. And honestly, you know, we lived in this world for 5-6 years it took to make it.
The Oscars will be held on Sunday, March 15th.
She did not cry that night.
Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
To Minnesota now, and the simmering tensions with U.S. immigration agents and ongoing demonstrations against their presence in the city, further stoking the animosity. An image of a 5-year-old boy taken into ICE custody. With the latest, here's Joy Malbon.
His name is Liam Ramos. He's 5 years old. Wearing a blue bunny hat, he attends a preschool in Minnesota. His teachers say he was rounded up by ICE agents. According to lawyers, he's now in detention with his father in Texas. Liam is just one of 4 children detained by ICE agents in the last 2 weeks from the same school district.
He's a bright young student. All I want is for him to be safe and back here.
The raids are part of President Donald Trump's hardline crackdown on immigration. He promised to go after the worst of the worst and deport them.
They're murderers, they're drug lords.
Liam is not a violent offender. The family lawyer says he was used as bait to lure other people from their home. The family is applying for asylum, but instead of leaving Liam with relatives, ICE agents put him in detention.
ICE detained a 5-year-old. Well, what are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to let a 5-year-old child freeze to death?
The vice president in Minneapolis trying to lower the temperature after 2 weeks of unrest. The ICE raids have ripped Minneapolis apart with more agents than police on the streets. Tensions are high after the fatal shooting of Renee Good by an ICE officer. Minnesota's governor and mayor don't want them there, now under criminal investigation for possible obstruction. For the teachers at Columbia Heights, now missing a little boy, this is inexcusable.
ICE agents have been roaming our neighborhoods, circling our schools, following our buses, coming into our parking lots and taking our children, and our hearts are shattered.
Joy Malvin, CTV News, Washington.
Monday on CTV News, after lengthy delays, Lambton County's Heart Hub is set to open. Details on the services available supporting people dealing with homelessness and addiction. That's Monday on CTV News at 6.
Tonight's weather snapshot sent in from our viewer Ray. Thank you so much for sharing this photo. As we head into the night, a cold warning remains in effect. We do have wind chill values near -30 overnight tonight. And don't forget about those gusty winds, 50 kilometers per hour. Now, Saturday will feature sunshine, but it certainly will not be enough to warm us up. Our daytime high for tomorrow, -13. We do have system snow in the forecast for Sunday, up to 15 centimeters possible by Monday morning.
A Canadian doctor says the recent drop in temperatures has led to a spike in frostbite cases. Pauline Chan has more on the risks and the best protection when the temperature drops.
When the wind chill dips below -30, the risk of frostbite goes up.
And I got contacted probably within the last 2 days about 6 times about frostbites already. And some of them were significant.
Dr. Mark Yeshke's big worry is the unhoused who are exposed for a prolonged time.
At the beginning, you feel numb, you have some pain, but then, as you know, as the tissue damage progresses, your pain goes usually away. And people are like, oh, I'm fine, I'm okay, but then they don't realize that it just gets worse and worse.
Hamilton Health Sciences has a video on how to avoid frostbite. Layer up, especially your head and neck, and protect your feet and hands. And while some suggest warm water, Dr. Yeshke prefers other methods to warm up the hands and feet.
Go somewhere warm, layer up, massage gently, rub the gently, bring the blood flow back, move your hands, move your body, get the circulation going.
A new drug approved in Canada in 2024 is also available for severe cases.
It dilates the blood vessels and makes sure there is more blood flow to the area that is affected by the frostbite.
But there is a downside. It has to be used within 72 hours, and it can cause a dangerously fast heartbeat, so its use must be monitored.
Discolorization, right? And your fingers remain white or get blue and all of a sudden have some blisters, have some changes on your toes, you should see medical attention.
As for how long you can stay outside, Dr. Yeshke says go inside as soon as you start to feel numb or uncomfortable and use your common sense. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
Ontario health officials say flu cases across the province are quickly dropping. According to Public Health Ontario, 7.3% of all flu tests came back positive last week. That's about half the rate from the previous week, which was about half the number from the week before that. Cases peaked around the holidays, leading to a surge in care in hospitals. The cold has transformed Lake Erie in just a matter of days, with low water levels quickly freezing over. As Chris Campbell reports, that can create complications for the shipping sector.
Bitter cold and strong winds are reshaping Lake Erie fast.
Lakes don't offer any protection from the wind, and we're seeing strong winds. So the wind chill near the lake is going to be really uncomfortable, to say the least.
Environment Canada says wind chill values near -32 to -33, combined with gusts up to 50 kilometers an hour, have accelerated ice formation on the shallowest of the Great Lakes.
We've got bitter Arctic air across Ontario, and I would suspect the lakes are warmer than that, but they're not going to give any relief at all to anyone looking to warm up.
The result? A dramatic jump in ice coverage in just days, going from 1% to nearly 85% coverage in 1 week's time. Just days ago, much of Lake Erie here was open water. Now with this Arctic blast settling in, the lake behind me is almost entirely frozen over. A dramatic shift that's happening faster than many people can remember.
Well, I would say it's pretty extreme.
Lake Erie right now is looking to be about 7 inches lower than it was last January.
Scientists at the Great Lakes Institute for Environmental Research say Lake Erie's shallow depth makes it especially vulnerable to rapid swings. Earlier this week, freighter ship American Spirit had to put out a call for help due to the evolving waters as it traveled to Toledo.
But yeah, it's an interesting time in the Great Lakes.
The sudden freeze is also catching the attention of those who live and work along the lake.
It's something that we don't see on a regular basis. You know, these years where we get this much ice this quick is few and far between.
In Colchester, tackle shop owner Fred Bondi says customers are eager to get ice fishing, but he cautions Lake Erie ice can be unpredictable.
We have a lot of shelf ice right now, and the only way you're getting out on that ice to do any fishing is if you got an airboat, you know, a fan boat, that style of boat. Walking out would be too dangerous at this point.
It is certainly very cold, and I would definitely put it in the unusual category.
In Colchester, Chris Campbell, CTV News.
London's top stories.
We have breaking news tonight out of Ottawa. The latest on the
breaking news alerts.
I'm tracking an area of severe weather. It'll start.
And watch live.
A development now to a story from City Hall we brought you.
Download the CTV News app.
Hi, I'm Sherry Flick, host of Weekend Spotlight, Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. here on CTV London. This week, we're going to take you back to the days of the Stork Club and Wonderland Gardens with Swing in the West Wing, a great dancing and eating event coming up soon. Also, January, Dry January. We're going to speak with the founder of Dry Variety, give you some other options to choose this time around. And Youth Opportunities Unlimited, we'll find out more about them. Saturday, 8 a.m.
Welcome back. A former hockey player in the Maritimes has partnered with a craft brewery. He'd suffered multiple concussions during his career, impacting his interest in alcoholic beverages. So, as Josh Smith reports, they've taken the booze out of the beer.
3 years ago, Dieppe native Alex Noel partnered with a local brewer to produce a non-alcoholic craft beer. For the former hockey player, the ambition to cut back on alcohol wasn't a trend. It was a health decision.
I've had 8 concussions. 7 of the 8 were hockey related. I was dealing with a lot of post-concussion syndrome issues, and a lot of it was just, pounding migraines for no particular reason. And alcohol was a big contributor to those migraines.
But drinking beer was never just about the effect.
The social aspect of drinking is kind of what I preferred the most. It wasn't necessarily about the effects, but more about being with friends.
Noel brought forward a unique approach. Instead of brewing beer without alcohol, the beer is fully brewed. Then the alcohol is extracted.
I was actually shifting to research around non-alc production, try to achieve and really get that quality standard that craft beer drinkers expect.
Noel says studying this concept in university helped shape the idea, but the brew house here did not anticipate how the product would take off.
It's crazy to us in the sense that, we launched officially April of 2025. So to have a product show up and in 8 months become 14% of our business is, pleasantly surprising.
Co-owner Brian Harriman says the goal of keeping the taste without alcohol is paying off.
To our knowledge, we're the only craft brewery in Canada that has this technology. It tastes just like the originals, and I've had the good fun to trick my friends by serving them non-alcs and later on asking how they like them, and they say, oh, these are great.
The brewery says the demand isn't limited to January.
But our biggest month of the year for sales was July. So what it tells me is in those summer occasions, those backyard barbecues on the golf course, whatever it is, people are choosing to mix in non-alc with their other regular choices.
And offering options without taking away flavor. Josh Smith, CTV News, Dieppe.
And finally tonight, a Chicago grad student and his take on a marathon. He's trying to run every street in the Windy City, and as NBC's Lexi Sutter reports, he's doing so with a purpose.
This is day 362 of running every single street in Chicago.
Joe Barbosa is treating this city like his treadmill, on a mission to run every stretch of all 77 neighborhoods.
I was like, why don't I run the whole city? No one's ever done it before, so I was like, why don't I just be the first one?
He started in August of 2024, but last year began documenting his journey on Instagram.
We're in Austin, right? Yeah. We love Austin.
He highlights some lesser-known neighborhoods and says it's important to him to shut down the stereotypes.
Chicago's not as dangerous as people think. You can run every street and be safe, no matter who you are.
His favorite part, though, is meeting people and sometimes even picking up a new running partner.
My brother right here got out of federal prison just last week.
During our interview, a handful of residents recognized him.
The faster I run, the faster the Hey, my brother. No one really knows my name. They just know me as like the guy running the streets of Chicago.
Job was born in Brazil and grew up in England, but says Chicago is now a home away from home and forever an important part of his story.
Even though in the future I might not live in Chicago, like I'm gonna get a tattoo of a Chicago star when I finish this journey, my first ever tattoo, just because I love this place so much.
And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For your latest local headlines, you can always head to our website. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a great weekend.